Sean clapped for me. Eva clapped twice. Sean once. Eva twice. Sean once. Eva twice. Sean once now. Eva twice.
This is not a rhythm. Hi, I'm Eva.
I'm Sean.
And we wrote MOSAIC.
We wrote MOSAIC and starred in it. Fun fact.
Explain the process we went through to write and develop the script.
At the very beginning, Sam, Ryan, and myself locked ourselves in a room and essentially drew the story on a wall.
Where was I?
You weren't there. We made an outline together, and then I went off, wrote the first draft. I was given notes from Eva and Sam, and then off of those notes wrote a second draft, and then handed it off to Eva.
Mainly where I was involved was before the outlining step that Sean mentioned, we actually
Oh yeah, forgot about all that.
A couple of weeks just like tossing around ideas, like brainstorming, like a real like there are no bad ideas, just say anything kind of phase.
A lot of expensive ideas.
Some ideas we couldn't afford to produce, but we ended up getting something that we all felt like we could do successfully.
Mm-hmm. We went from a space pirate vibe to something a bit more easier.
Yeah.
So you can see the leap we took.
It's unfortunately my job while brainstorming to be realistically, how would we do this with the time and money and resources that we have?
Yeah, we didn't write scripts. Each person came up with their own idea, wrote 3 or 4 page summary of what happened, and we were like, none of these are possible. So
and then
scrapped it.
The other step where I jumped in was during some of the edits, Sean and I would have meetings where I read the script and then I gave him feedback on it. Since my background is in writing prose fiction, I just approached it from a pure storytelling angle, like why are these characters doing what they do? And then once he was finished with it, I just kind of polished up some of the dialogue to make it sound more natural and shuffled things around a little and just did the finishing touches. We had a rough draft that we rehearsed with. We had a finished draft that we memorized kind of and took with us to Puerto Rico, but we were on the plane still writing it, and we got there and we realized that some of the stuff we were wanting to do wouldn't work, and we ended up rewriting parts of it, but the ways that we rewrote it I feel like made it make more sense in the end, so it ended up being a good thing.
More sense and actually easier to film. It ended up.
Yeah.
So these things happen. You just embrace it.
It was changing literally while we were on the beach.
Yeah.
Alright, if you did this again, what would you change in the process?
Spend more time writing.
Yeah, I mean...
Think realistically sooner.
It's hard to say because the genre that MOSAIC isn't normally the genre that I feel comfortable writing. So I think that by the time that I started working with Sean on it and started getting some input on it, the first couple of rounds, I was just familiarizing myself with it, and I don't know, the script still feels unfinished to me. So maybe if we'd had more time, or if I'd just been more comfortable with the genre that we were writing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we wrote this during senior year of college, so it wasn't the highest priority.
Yeah.
So I think being able to focus solely on writing, putting all our energy into that.
Yeah, I definitely think that having final projects and portfolios and whatever else we were doing our last semester of college made it a lot harder to sit down and focus long enough to get something out. And I think, I don't know, my main thing is storytelling and characterization. That's the stuff that sticks with me most and the stuff that I worry about most. So I just feel like that still needed more work, I guess.
Yeah, I wrote the first draft not doing any of that. So that was all. More things that I do differently. I think we actually did a lot of stuff right because things went a lot smoother than they could have been also.
Yeah.
Little counterpoint.
What words of wisdom would you give to the future screenwriters watching this?
I'd say if you're gonna work with a team, make sure that it's a team that works well together. And I think as writers, you and I work pretty well together because we have different specialties. So, like...
You're really good at characters, characterization, dialogue.
Yeah, and you can, you know... You're,
coming up with the idea.
Yeah, like with the concepts and actually
Plot.
like... Yeah, making something movie-shaped instead of something book-shaped, which is like where I automatically want to go. And action and all of that kind of stuff. So I think having a team that you work with well is good.
Not putting it off, because the longer you don't write, the more stale the idea is going to get in your head, and then you'll only want to write it less.
I think just like you have to do pre-production before you can make a movie, you have a certain level of pre-production you have to do before you can even start the script. That means having a solid concept, making sure that like everyone who's going to have a hand in it, like including the director, any other writers, whatever, is like comfortable with the concept and knows the direction you're going. I like to put together a mood board because I'm kind of visual, so I kind of have an idea of like what the story's gonna feel like, and then knowing your characters, like who are they, what do they want, who are they outside of this block of time that we're gonna spend with them, like when they're not in this story, like what drives them and what shaped them to be the people that they are now. I think if you have all of those things in place, then it makes it a lot easier to write a script and to write a better script.
Mm-hmm. For me, and this isn't for everyone, but I love listening to music, either while I write or to kind of pump myself up. Deciding what the tone of the story is going to be, and then finding soundtracks that fit that tone can actually lead to even you writing new scenes on the spot. Because
Sorry. I still have a cough. I tried to hold it in.
So music. Listen to it.
As you were saying.
As I was saying. Yeah, you listen to music, and especially with film music where there's no lyrics and you can just focus on the tone, the sound, and the kind of the evolution of where this cue is going. You can kind of picture things in your head, and I've created whole scenes just from, like the Dark Knight soundtrack. Swear to me! Or whatever you have.
See, opposites.
And also, don't worry about page count. I hate it. It's a lie. Don't worry. Unless you're putting this into a film festival that requires a certain amount of time. For screenwriting, just don't worry about page count. It's not accurate to what the movie will actually be. In this case, it was, but it's generally not. I will preface that. We were, I think, an exception. An action line can take one line, but that action on camera could take 2-3 minutes.
What were some things that you did right?
Constructive criticism. Instead of just tearing down each other's ideas, it was like, I see what you were trying to do, here's how you can maybe do it better. I learned a lot from Eva about writing from this. She was helpful, and not just, this sucks, try something new.
Like I'm prone to do.
Yeah. Again, exception.
It's hard to say because, like, I mean, I helped, but I feel like really it's Sean's script. Like, it was more, I don't know, you spent more time with it, and it was more like your kind of genre thing to do. Was it your idea originally? Did Sam pitch it? The treatment for it?
The treatment, it was...
Alright, you pitched VR. I pitched the full concept.
And I pitched the village, which was like the attacks.
Yeah.
So it was
I guess that was collaborative.
A split, yeah. Yeah, collaborate. Don't be afraid to share ideas.
We collaborated real good. That's one.
Collaborate and listen.
The nice thing about like us having a lot of other stuff we had to work on and literally leaving to film the day after we walked across the stage and collected our diplomas was that like that distraction helped keep us from being too perfectionistic with it. Like it still like bugs me in some ways because I am a perfectionist and I wish I had been able to like, I don't know, finish things more, but like at a certain point you have to stop yourself, and like we couldn't worry about making it perfect. We just needed to get it done, and
yeah.
I think just like being able to kind of let go of that idea is something that like every writer needs to do, because it's never going to be perfect or done or whatever.
We also wrote for the place we were filming. Like the scenes and the blocking, what was in the script, was written with. We actually had a layout of the place we were staying to film, and having that, by my side at least while writing, it just makes it easier to know what you can and can't do.
So go ahead and say your goodbyes, and then we'll turn the recording off.
To each other?
No,
to the camera.
All right, goodbye. Thank you for listening to us.
Smash that like.
Watch the trailer. That's a darn good trailer.
Smash that like.
It's like the movie in a nutshell, as trailers usually are.
And cut. If you want to explore anything else, or if you have any questions for us about how or why we shot our feature film, go ahead and leave those in the comments, and we'll try and answer those for you guys. Thank you for coming to No Budget Films today. I'm Sam, and go make a movie.